Hello, more families. Good to see you again. This is Mrs. Marple back with another art lesson for you guys for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the art lessons last week. They were both drawing activities, so I thought we would try something a little bit different this week. We're going to try a three-dimensional project. We're going to be doing cardboard castles. This is going to be using a lot of the things that you already have at home, recyclable materials like cardboard cylinders. Those are the tubes that you would find from toilet paper or paper towel rolls. That's what these are, the cylinders. Remember, working with forms. When you work with 3D and sculpture, you need to use forms to make them nice and large. So if you have stuff like this around the house, this is going to be a really good way to use up all that material. So this project is inspired by a famous sculptor named Simon Rodia, and he is known for creating something called the Watts Towers. Now, if you don't know about the Watts Towers, you can have an adult help you look it up online. Simon Rodia, Watts Towers, and that is in Los Angeles, California. And it's actually a national park now, so you can go visit with your family whenever everything opens back up. It's supposed to be amazing. I have not seen it yet, but it's made out of giant pieces of rebarb and concrete, and they're like towers. They're giant, and it's in the middle of Los Angeles, so it's really exciting to see something new and unexpected. And these are all made by a man who is self-taught, so it's part of what we would call folk art. It's something that he brought with him when he came over from Italy. He's an immigrant. He came over when he was 15 years old, and he's a self-taught artist. And so he built these towers out of found materials. And so that's why we're building our cardboard castle or sculptures or towers out of found materials. And so you're gonna need a couple of different things for this, but they should be things that you have at home. If they're not, don't worry about it. I will include a drawing lesson this week as well. So the supplies you're gonna need are gonna be cardboard, so tubes, boxes, cereal boxes work, tissue boxes, pretty much any kind of cardboard that you have, and a lot of different things in your recycle bin. So if you have pieces of foam from packing material, if you're ordering like electronics and things, a lot of those come packed with styrofoam, rubber bands, paper clips. What else do I have on here? Pipe cleaners, pom-poms, string, soda pop tops, twisty ties. Pretty much anything that you would feel safe using. I don't want you guys to use glass today. I don't want you to use anything metal with sharp edges on it. So just try to find safe materials to work with. You're gonna need a pair of scissors, and you're gonna need glue. And I'll tell you about all the different pieces that we're gonna be working with here. This one is my daughter's right here, and it's kind of wild and funky. So you can tell that after we glue everything on our base, you're gonna be able to paint with fun colors and add lots of different fun things to it. So this is kind of a free-form sculpture. We're just gonna try to have fun and use up some stuff around the house and enjoy making this 3D creation. Okay, so gather your materials and meet me back here, and we'll get started on the construction. Hey guys, we are back, ready to go. Hopefully you have all the supplies that you need. Most importantly, for the first part of your project is to have a base. Now the base is going to be the bottom of your project, and so you want your cardboard to be nice and sturdy. So this is best made out of cardboard, the thick stuff, not like a cereal box. That would be too flimsy when you try to move it. Now if you're not going to move it, you're welcome to use a thinner piece of cardboard, but I really highly recommend the corrugated cardboard just so it's a little bit more sturdy. You always need a nice firm base. In architecture, when you build buildings or bridges, you always need a strong foundation. They always say that, a strong base. So this is your foundation, this is your base. I cut mine with scissors. You might need an adult to help cut your base. Everything else for this project, you're welcome to just use small safety scissors, or you can tear. So there's a little bit of adult prep here if you are one of my younger friends, kindergarten through 2nd grade. But the rest of it, 3rd through 5th, you guys should be pretty good on this on your own. So what I have is I've got my base, I've got my glue. Now let's talk about glue for just a little bit. You are welcome to use pretty much whatever kind of glue you have at home, but I'm going to highly recommend Elmer's Glue All or Tacky Glue. I did not have Glue All at my store, and so we just ordered the regular school glue, which is fine if you have that. You can also use the gel glue, or if you're an older student and your family has a low temperature hot glue gun, I would recommend that. Now with a hot glue gun, I do want you to have adult supervision. And that's also going to be something that adults, if you need to help your younger student, if some of these pieces, whenever it dries, they fall off, is you might secure them with some hot glue whenever we're done with the project. So I've got my base. If you have more than one project, you might feel like writing your name on the side, because if you guys have a lot of the same materials, you might get them confused with one another. So usually putting your name on it is a good idea. We always do that in the art room, but since I'm the only one making one right now, I don't need my name. So let's get started. So, tubes. Everybody should be having tubes at their house. A lot of you have already probably made projects with these. I've seen a lot of really cool things on Pinterest and Facebook with people using crafts. So that's what we're gonna use for this, to make nice tall towers, like Watts towers. I only have one large one right now, so I'm gonna put that in first. I'm gonna make that the focal point of my project. That means the most important thing. The focal point is the part you want everybody to see first, most important. So I might place it in the middle, I might place it on the side, I can put it anywhere I want. And when you're building your city or castle or towers, you can glue these on however you want to. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make notches at the bottom, but you don't have to do that. You can do a couple different things. So I'm just gonna cut equally up the side of my tube, and then I'm gonna fold them up. And this is gonna give my tube some place for that glue to go, and I'll be able to kind of secure it down. Kind of looks like a flower, doesn't it? And you are welcome to use the tip of the glue bottle and just glue, glue, glue if you want to. For our younger friends, it might be easier to use a paintbrush, one that doesn't have super fuzzy hairs that could fall out and make your project fuzzy. I'm using a thin synthetic brush, and I actually have my glue in one of the medicine cups from an old medication. These are really good for craft projects. Also, you could use these as part of your project if you want to when you're done. So this is just an old medicine cup. We don't need to keep a million of those around, so we use them for lots of different things. So now I'm gonna paint my glue on all the little tabs all the way around. And when you are creating your towers, this is also called an assemblage. An assemblage is a piece of art made with basically found materials. They could be like materials, they could be completely different random materials, which is kind of what we're doing now. This is all recyclable materials, but recyclables can be made of lots of different things, like metal and glass. What else can you? Cardboard, paper, plastic. So there's a lot of different things going on this. So I'm just gonna push those tabs down. That is one way of attaching these tubes. If you have nice flat edges on yours, like it hasn't been cut into pieces yet, this will lay nice and flat on your cardboard base anyway, so you could just put paint around the bottom of your tubes if you wanted to. You don't even have to cut the notches. You're not gonna have a nice flat place to put your glue, so there's a possibility that overnight when we have this dry, that these might pop off because they don't have as large of a surface area to put the glue on. But you are more than welcome to try. So there's another one of my tubes, and I'm just gonna go around and glue the rest of my tubes on real quick. And remember, if you don't have tubes at home, that's okay. We don't want you having to go out to get any of these, but if your house is like my house, you've got some of these cardboard tubes lying around somewhere. All right. So I'm just gonna add those two. I'll add some more later on my project, but let's move on to something else. So if you have egg cartons, okay? Another thing most families have is the egg cartons. Oops, here's my full one right there. You can tear these really easily into pieces, and so that's what I've done. There's lots of really cool pieces that you can cut or tear off of these egg cartons to make taller tower tops, kind of like a Rapunzel tower. You can make them concaved, so they go in, so you can put something in here. You can put like Lego figures in here at the top of the castle. There's a lot of different things. You can make it a flower castle, and you can cut these into flower petals. I'll do that real quick with this one. I want a flower at the top of mine. And remember, if you are one of my younger friends, you need to have permission to use scissors, remembering to cut away from you Always be aware of where your little fingers are. So now I have flower petals, and I could glue this anywhere onto my towers. So I've cut one of my egg cartons into the shape of a little flower, and this could go at the bottom on the base if I want. I think that's what I want. I'm gonna put it at the base. I'm gonna have a garden around my towers or my castle. Okay. And then this nice long piece, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. You can just glue things on anywhere, or if you want to, you can kind of have maybe a day to just plan. You could draw it out. I usually have my kids do a rough sketch, a small drawing of their plan, like their blueprint, like architects usually do, almost always, because you want to make sure that you have an idea of what you need, where you want to put it. So I've got a couple of things on here. I'm going to just take some time and add a little bit more to my castle, and then we'll talk about the next step. Hello, welcome back. Okay, so what I have here is my cardboard assemblage, my castle, my towers, whatever you want to call it. So I worked for just a little bit of time. Now obviously you guys would have more time than I would for this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this guy dry overnight. So 24 hours is the general rule whenever you are gluing something that's thicker than cardstock or paper. It gives everything a good chance to dry really, really well, because what I want to do after my construction part is finished is I want to add all the fancy stuff like painting or glitter or stickers or string, pom-poms, things like that. All the fun stuff goes on after the construction part. Well, this was a lot of fun, even for me. I loved it. And I'm going to put my daughters next to mine. Now my daughter Elsie, she is in kindergarten, and this was hers. Hers is really fun. We added the color to hers with tempera cake, and we glued lots of fuzzy pom-poms. She made a drawbridge, so keep all of that extra recyclable materials at your house ready to go for added special things like this. You don't want to throw it away yet or recycle it, because it's all recyclable. You don't want to recycle all of it yet, even after you're building, because you know some things might not work. Maybe the towers fall off and I need a new one. Maybe I feel like adding to it. And the great thing about this project is it's a lot of problem solving. It's you having to think through, oh, will that balance? Oh, will that stay? Will this actually dry to what I want it to? And so if you come back and it has not done what you wanted it to do, that's okay. Find a new way to make it work. Come up with a new plan. Lots of problem solving and lots of fun. So when I see you again, I will have made sure everything was nice and glued down, and I will start decorating my structure, my assemblage. So I hope you guys had fun. I will see you in just a little bit. Okay guys, I know you guys are probably concerned about me going back and forth between clothes. These were filmed at different times. So what I have now is I've had more than 24 hours for my assemblage, my castle, my towers to dry. And so I just wanted to kind of show you how I know it's dry. Okay, so as long as nothing is falling off right now, I feel like I'm ready to go for paint. And I wanted to show you around the back. So I've got this long piece up at the top right here, and it was not wanting to stay on. So all I did was use some extra paper from my recycle bin. I think these were old scavenger hunt papers that I printed out for my kindergartner. And I just glued them to brace along the back so that this piece is more structurally sound. This piece is not going to fall off now because I have these extra pieces of paper along the back side. And it doesn't matter what it looks like right now because we're about to paint this. So I'm going to grab some, I've got some tempera, some liquid tempera, and I've got some acrylic paint. You could always use leftover house paint, or if you wanted, mom and dad, maybe they have extra white spray paint, they could spray the whole thing white so you have a nice white base for it. But any of those things, house paint, acrylic, spray paint, you need to have an adult with you for those things, and please don't use spray paint by yourself. This would be something mom or dad would do for you. When you get ready to paint, I want you guys to try to make sure that you cover your surface. So your table, you could always go out and paint. And make sure that you wear clothes that you're not going to be worried if they get something on them, okay? So I'm going to take some time and paint up my towers, and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. And I hope that you guys will post pictures of your cardboard constructions on our More Facebook page so we can get an idea of what you guys are building. And remember, if you don't want to build a tower or a castle, that's fine. Building in 3D is just such a great learning experience for you guys. So I would love to see cars. You can draw, you can make houses, you can make farms, you can make animals, you can make tons of different things, robots out of cardboard and spare parts that you have around the house. So I look forward to seeing what you guys can make, and I will show you a picture at the end of what my finished construction looks like.